can maybe spend a little bit of time on that? People like
Sure.
Brock Lesnar, people like CM Punk. With Brock, was it just because he was such a physical specimen, so great right from the get go? Was he just so ready that he was able to just circumvent all of that?
Well, first of all, Brock got that ready in OVW.
Yeah,
So I do, and we got to give Danny Davis and Jim Cornette,
yeah,
and all the trainers there, Rip Rogers as well, a ton of credit for that. But at the same time, there is no one who looks like, acts like, or is Brock Lesnar.
yeah,
He's a one of a kind talent. He's a huge one of a kind guy, one of
yeah,
a kind talent. And you cannot stop the force. You couldn't stop the
yeah,
momentum. Same thing with Punk. He got over organically. He got over with even with all the forces of evil who didn't want him to get over. He got over. So it was hard to ignore. It was hard. Plus, he was over with some of the writers. Brock was over with the writers, but he didn't care if he was over or not because he was going to be over regardless. The 10,000-hour rule certainly applies, no
yeah.
doubt, in wrestling. But also, the amendment is they said, yes, you have to have 10,000 hours to be considered an expert. But then they also had to say, but you also have to have talent. Just because you've done something 10,000 hours or just because you've been wrestling 15 years doesn't mean you're great, doesn't mean that you really know, because if you've been wrestling 15 years and you haven't ventured out or got an opportunity yet, then we have to ask, why not? Why did you wait 15 years all of a sudden say,
Yeah.
well, now I'm ready to go to WWE? Because it is a process, and seven times Nettie Neidhart tried. But she didn't give up. She didn't stop dancing until it rained.
Yeah.
And so there are elements with guys like Brock. There are elements with guys like a Sid Vicious. Sid just was a specimen.
Yeah.
There weren't many people who looked like him. He was extraordinary. He was that guy. Brock's that guy. Punk looked like a regular guy, but he was extraordinary in his attitude. He was extraordinary in his presence. He was extraordinary in his presentation.
Did
So,
CM Punk
so
have that presence? Because there are certain people when they walk in a room, like for example, when I met Goldberg, it was like even if I didn't know wrestling, you would know that's a somebody. Did
correct.
CM Punk have that despite having the stature that didn't necessarily
I,
have, like a Brock Lesnar or something? Did he have that
yeah,
presence when you walk into a room?
I don't believe he did, especially when I first met him. But later on, when he gained his status,
Yeah.
he earned it. But the story, heard a story that he was turned away at Madison Square Garden when he was a champion because they didn't believe he was a wrestler. So they're not going to turn away Brock. They're not going to turn away Sid. But Punk just looked like your average guy. At the same time, when he came out to a crowd or when he was on a show, there was some element of stardom to him, and people gravitated towards him. Don't know why. He was an exceptional talent, no doubt in the world. But Brian, I'm sorry, 70. I just had a brain. Uh,
Daniel Bryan?
Thank you so much. I was going to say Brian Danielson, but I knew
Oh,
that wasn't his
yeah.
name.
Well, it
Daniel
is.
Bryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But I was thinking his working name, and I just
Yeah.
I just went blank for a minute. But Daniel Bryan has the same way. He's not an imposing figure. He doesn't have that. When he walks into a room, everybody goes, "Oh wow, who's that?" But in wrestling, they do because he's so great at what he does. And Punk, I think, had the same quality. When he came into his environment, when he came into his setting, he was revered and people respected him for the most part. You always had your jealousies and envy
Yeah.
running rampant, but it was that element of why are you special? Why would anyone want to put you on their television show and give you 5 minutes, much less 15 minutes and two segments? Well, Brock Lesnar, you understand.
Yeah.
The guys who would give the writer a action figure, you would understand once you would see the push they got, and then they were able to carry it out. That's the idea. Yes, get over with the writers, and they'll give you an opportunity. If they shit the bed, if they just completely blew it, then they wouldn't have had that opportunity again. So
Yeah.
they were taking a chance to get in, and they were taking a chance because, again, we call it kissing ass, we call it playing the game, whatever you want to call it. It gave them an open door, and they went through the door, and they kept it open. So that's a huge part of it.
I've got a question for you that I don't know the answer to this. I still don't know the answer to this, but I feel like if I was to, meet somebody that was very important that was not in wrestling or whatever, I would have no problem getting myself over to that person or conducting myself, in the right way or whatever. But I think as wrestlers, maybe not so much now, but especially early in my career, there's like, when you see someone that's massively powerful and you meet them for the first time, you can't help but overthink that. Have you got any tips for wrestlers who are on the way up or trainees, and let's say they bump into someone who's a massive figure in the industry or in management or behind the scenes? What should that first meeting go like? How do you make a good impression without embarrassing yourself or being overbearing?
Sometimes it's unavoidable, quite honestly, because I've made that mistake many times over. But I will tell you the solution to that. Be professional. What I mean by that is say hello. Very nice to meet you. Try not to be nervous, and that's yeah, easier said than done. That's You're going to be nervous, and people understand that. The guys
Yeah.
who have been there understand that. They certainly do. But as long as you're professional, and I truly believe, and I certainly can be wrong, but I truly believe the guys, especially these days, who have reached that status, at least the guys I know who have reached that status, have also, I've seen them in their most vulnerable beginning stages,
Yeah.
and they understand, and they still remember that. A guy like The Rock, who is the biggest star in
Yeah.
the world, entertainment star, is still that guy who understands what it's like to be the guy who's looking up at the screen at his idols, at his heroes.
Yeah.
His dad is a huge star. He still understands that feeling. That's why he has and is capable of empathy when he meets people. He understands it. Not every superstar does, and not every person's the same. So all I would suggest when you meet someone like that, be professional, be respectful. Don't act like you're already in the
Yeah.
game because you're not. But be respectful, and they'll know that, and they'll remember that because they were there themselves.
Yeah.
The class guys do, the guys who have an understanding of this business. The other guys who don't are complete assholes anyway, and there's
Yeah.
nothing you can do to get around it. Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say to, let's say, someone who's doing extra work and um they meet like the head of the company, or or a booker or something like that, someone who they would have no professional dealing with? Is that a chance to get yourself over, or is it best to just say hello and lay low?
Just say hello and lay low right now, especially these days. And I say that because they we had some of our guys go for extra work last year. And when they send you all the paperwork, they have these list of rules now. They didn't have
All right.
10 years ago. They have a list of rules. Do not approach Hunter. Do not approach Vince. Do not approach, because it's got to that point where guys were showing up for extra work and trying to get over
Yeah.
with Hunter, trying to get over with Vince. And it was overwhelming. The way you'll get over is with your agent or the agents or producers, whatever they're called now. If you get an opportunity to go to the ring, and here's the most nerve wracking thing for any major company, I think, for WWE anyway. Let me say this: when you want to go to the ring, you're supposed to be there at whatever time it is.
Yep.
I think now it's 1, and get changed. Don't breathe. Don't breathe here. Don't breathe there. Don't walk here. Don't walk there. Wait, did you sniffle? No. Okay, don't close your eyes. Don't blink. Don't. What? Okay. They understand everybody's going to be nervous, and they're going to ask you to go to the ring, and all of a sudden you're down by the ring, but they have to walk through things on TV too, and they have to
Yeah.
get things done within a certain time frame. So you're sitting there waiting, and you're cold, and you're nervous, but that's again where you need to summon the courage and summon the patience and summon the silence to where you just go, relax, relax. I got this. Everybody's been in this position before. And they have, even if they've forgotten, they've been in that position before, trying to make a good impression, trying to do the right thing, wanting to do the right thing. being nervous. It's all part of the test. It's all part of the process. But when you get that opportunity to get in the ring, you don't want to rush. You want to be calm as you can, and the guys watching you will take note because that's their job pretty much.
Thanks for watching the video. If you want to support the channel, you can sign up to our sponsor, ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN means that when you go online, your data is 100% secure no matter what you do on the web. And if you maybe want to watch Canadian Netflix or American Hulu, ExpressVPN have servers in over 100 different countries. We have this amazing Black Friday deal available where you can get 49% off, and the deal is available all the way through to December 14th. All you need to do to sign up is go to itrwrestling.com/VPN.